araw, Al. Magandang araw, Kim. At syempre, magandang araw po sa lahat po ng libo-libo ninyong mga tagapakinig.
Aba, napakaganda ng ating araw ngayon na. So, Attorney Al, medyo ikaw ang magsisimula ngayon.
Okay. Si Secretary John Castriciones, matagal na to sa serbisyo publiko. Nagsimula pa ito sa dating Department of Transportation and Communications.
Okay.
And naging appointee rin ito ng dating dalawang Pangulo, si dating Pangulong Gloria Macapagal-Arroyo at si dating Pangulong Benigno Aquino III. Okay? And recently nga, na-appoint din siya ni President Rodrigo Duterte sa Department of Agrarian Reform. Marami nakakilala sa kanya as Brother John. So siguro yun ang unang tanong ko. Bakit kayo po ay nakilala sa bansag na Brother John?
Well, first of all, Al, gusto ko lang i-correct. Kasi hindi ako na-appoint ni President Benigno Aquino. I was appointed by President Gloria Macapagal-Arroyo in my capacity as Director of the Department of Transportation and Communication, and subsequently thereafter as an Undersecretary in the Department of Interior and Local Government, and thereafter Secretary as the Department of Agrarian Reform by no less than President Rodrigo Roa Duterte. Well, in response to your question kung bakit ang tinatawag na Brother John, well, kasi ako ay isang taong masunurin eh. Alam mo bakit? Meron kasi programa ang misis ko sa Radio Veritas, yung Brother John and Sister Fel. My wife happens to be a graduate of the Loyola School of Theology. Maano siya sa Bible, no? At syempre, ako naman ay sunod-sunuran lamang, Kim, no? And Al. Kaya ako'y sumusunod sa kanya at ako ang kanyang assistant do sa radio program. Kaya tinawag kaming Brother John and Sister Fel. So I carried the name Brother John.
So that's where the moniker started. Okay, and then dala nyo. Ngayon, ang tanong ko naman, Secretary, bakit po naman ninyo naisipan na tumakbo ngayon na senador?
Well, magandang tanong yan, Kim. Sa unang-una, in 2019, I was offered to run as a senatorial candidate by the President. But I declined.
Okay.
Because I wanted to be in touch with our farmers. That was a big opportunity for me to really touch bases with our farmers. Kasi, alam mo, meron akong advocacy ang pagmamahal sa ating mga magsasaka. Unang-una, ang aking pamilya galing sa magsasaka. No? Galing kami sa North kasi. And at the same time, alam
Saan
ko,
po sa North?
sa Nueva Vizcaya.
Oh, talagang
sa Mayumbong.
oo.
At alam ko ang damdamin ng mga magsasaka. Talagang mahirap ang kabuhayan ng magsasaka. And that was an opportunity for me to serve our farmers. So, I declined the offer and I grabbed the opportunity to become a Secretary of the Department of Agrarian Reform. And it was very fulfilling. Dahil as of now, we have distributed around 429,000 hectares of land since the time that I was seated as the Secretary of the Department of Agrarian Reform. Ngayon, sa panghuling taon ng ating Presidente, ay nabigyan na naman ako ng offer to run as a senatorial candidate. And so I can no longer decline. It is the second time. Baka sabihin naman ni Presidente, galit ka ba sa akin? Di ba? At saka secondly, when I went around the country, I found out that there are a lot of loopholes in the Comprehensive Agrarian Reform Program. And that there are a lot of what we call needed laws to be passed by our Congress, particularly the Senate, so that we can address the needs of our farmers.
Right.
You know, 60 to 70% of our people are actually involved in agriculture. We are an agricultural country. And ironically, ano nangyayari sa atin? We are still importing rice from our neighboring countries. And that's irony, no? And that's an insult to us. So, I decided that I would have to grab this opportunity so that I can contribute my little knowledge, being a lawyer at that, so that we can craft laws that would enhance and uplift the economic lives of our farmers.
Right.
So meron na po ba kayong idea kung ano-ano ang mga batas na ito? Na
Meron.
hindi na general na sinasabi natin to uplift the welfare of the farmers. Specific po. Ano po?
Meron na, Al and Kim, no? Unang-una, I'd like to champion the cause of our farmers, no? Meron akong kasabihan tayo dito na ang isang magsasaka na walang sariling lupa ay katulad siya ng isda na nawala sa tubig. O kaya isang punong kahoy na binunot sa lupa, mamamatay yan. Ganon din po ang ating mga magsasaka. Kailangan po natin bigyan ng lupa ang ating magsasaka. So I'm for the continuity of distributing lands to our farmers. Can you imagine? We have a lot of idle lands and yet they are not utilized.
That's right.
That's the reason why we need to continue this comprehensive agrarian reform program. Although they're saying that this CARP has been there for the last 50 years.
Yes.
And yet, we have not really attained the very purpose and essence of the CARP. Ang pinaka-main objective ng CARP is industrialization. But how can we industrialize when we don't even have a formidable agricultural economy? Yeah, number one yan, Al. At syempre, kailangan natin dito, we have to refocus our attention when it comes to agriculture. Hindi na lang sapat yung bibigyan mo sila ng sarili ng lupa. Kailangan dito, you have to give them ayuda, tulong. Kahit tignan mo, yung mga produkto na galing sa ibang bansa, di ba? Bakit pagpasok dito sa ating bansa, mas mura sila? Because the cost of production is very low. And they are subsidized by their own government. So what we have to do? We have to do the same. Kung hindi, we have to better the so-called assistance and the subsidy that must be given to our farmers. Kaya, yun po ang ipaglalaban ko. We would like to see to it that agriculture should really be appreciated as it is. Lalo-lalo na ngayong panahon ng pandemya, Al at saka Kim.
Oo.
Nakita nyo naman how relevant agriculture is. Without agriculture, definitely we will not be able to survive. Sabi ko nga, agriculture is the last frontier of our survival.
Okay, that's a good one. Secretary, ako po galing din po ako sa norte, no, sa Pangasinan po ako. Ang nakikita po namin na laging problema is that binigyan mo halimbawa na award na ng yung mga farmers, na award ng lupa, wala naman ho silang kakayahan para itil yun, wala silang pera and all. Ang nangyayari, isinasanla nila. Pagkatapos, ang nangyayari, nababaon sila lalo sa utang at ako nawawala din sa kanila yung naibigay sa kanila. Paano po ba natin ito masusolusyonan?
Tamang-tama yung sinabi mo, Kim.
Di
Kaya
ba?
nga, sabi ko, we must have to shift on the support services that must be given to our farmers. Financial loans. Kailangan tulungan natin sila. Kaya nung panahon ko, as a Secretary of the Department of Agrarian Reform, I saw to it that our farmers should be helped and assisted when it comes to financial loans. First and foremost, kailangan i-training natin ang mga farmers natin. Hindi na kasi pwede yung tinatawag natin na crude agricultural ways. Kailangan we have to modernize the same. At saka kailangan baguhin natin yung psyche ng ating mga farmers. Kasi tinuro sa atin, magtanim ay di biro, maghapon na kayo ko. Sino naman gusto maghapon na kayo ko? Kailangan natin ngayon mga makinarya. Alam mo, sinubukan ko yan sa isang agricultural farm dito sa Tondo. Wherein noong panahon ng pandemya, kasagsagan ng pandemya, walang mga gulay dito sa Tondo. So ang ginawa namin, I talked to one of the priests there, si Father Karandang. And I told him, Father, bakit hindi natin kultivate yung iyong football field, soccer field, and convert it dito an agricultural farm para yung mga tao dito sa Tondo, meron silang pagkukunan ng fresh vegetable and at the same time, meron silang pagkakitaan.
So parang bagsakan na.
Correct. So ang ginawa ko, I was the one who spearheaded it. Ako nga nag-operate nung nung traktora. It just took me 30 minutes to cultivate the 1 hectare land. At habang nagmamakinarya ako, nagpe-Facebook pa ako.
so napakaganda. So pwede actually, that's probably one template that can be replicated. Hindi po ba?
Definitely. Seriously speaking,
Yun pong
we have
mga...
to change our mindset.
Tanong kay Brother Dan.
Sige.
Kasi, pag dating nyo sa Senado, no, kung papalarin kayo na nasa Senado kayo, no, kahit mayroon kayong mga kaalyadong senador doon, ano, makikita natin magkaiba kayo ng interes.
Correct.
Kunyari, ang interest nyo, itong mga lupain ito, yung land conversion program natin, ano, gawin nating agrikultura, no? Pero,
yung
meron
iba,
kayong kaalyado, ang gusto niya gawin itong residential.
or commercial, yes.
Gawin niyo itong mga
Tama.
villages, no? O komunidad.
Alam niyo yata yan. So anong gagawin niyo dyan?
Balance yun.
Ito nga ang nakabubuti rito dahil ako po ay hindi po ako politiko, Alan o Kim. And I'm not even popular, di ba? Pero we have a cause to fight for. Alam mo, yun nga sinasabi ko dahil patong-patong yan Yung National Land Use Program natin na matagal ng pending sa Kongreso, ba't hindi ma-aproban yan? Di ba? Alam ni Kim
Tama.
yan. Kasi si Kim nandyan sa Kongreso.
Oo, tama.
Diba?
Yes.
Kung yan ay maipasa, sigurado wala nang issue tungkol sa conversion, di ba? Dahil we will be able to preserve those lands which are actually intended for the production of our food. Alam mo, sabi ko nga, ako naman ay abogado katulad mo, Al, no? At ako'y nakahandang makipagsatsatan sa kanila dyan tungkol sa kapakanan ng ating mga magsasaka. But of course, mahirap lang tayo at ang kalaban natin ay mga mayayaman at mga, di ba?
Hindi lang mayaman, bilyonaryo.
Bilyonaryo. Ako naman, hindi naman ako bilyonaryo. Isa lang akong mahirap na tao at hindi rin ako politika. Pero I'm willing. Well, you know, fate and destiny might smile at me. We don't know.
Speaking of which, Secretary, napakasikip po ngayon ng halalan Nakita nyo naman, napakarami hong ating nakikitang kandidato ngayon.
Tama.
So, realistically speaking, what do you think are your chances? And at this point, what is your campaign strategy para umangat kayo dito sa nakararami?
Well, aminin ko ng katotohanan, medyo mahirap talaga ngayon. Pero walang imposible sa Diyos eh.
Tama.
Kim and Al.
I agree.
And at the same time, advocating for revolution. Ha? Gusto ko revolution. Ha?
Pero
Anong klase?
revolution.
Agriculture.
Alam na ni Al.
Oh,
Pero ang
syempre.
revolution na aking gusto ay yung revolution ng puso at isipan. We have to change our hearts. We have to change our minds if we really want to have a change, a genuine change in our society. Kasi alam mo kung sino ang dapat baguhin dito? Yung ating mga botante, di ba? Kasi kung minsan, we have a penchant to choose yung mga popular na tao. But are they really capable of instituting changes in our society? Siguro sa tinagal-tagal na panahon, palagi na lang tayong ganito. Are we contented with this kind of life that we have right now? It's high time. That's why I call for a revolution. Magbago na ang puso at isipan ng tao para talagang magkaroon ng tamang pagbabago sa ating lipunan.
So,
Ganda nun,
oo nga, pero meron pang isa, huli na lang,
Okay,
Secretary.
okay, Kim.
Kasi sa Senado, consensus yan consensus din. Parang sa Kongreso din po, di ba, Secretary? So, that means, kailangan may konting compromise, di ba? Pero sir, kayo po ay tumatakbong under the PDP laban. Mukhang doon na lang hindi pa naayos yung gusot din, medyo magkaiba po yata ng pananaw yung ibang mga miyembro at yung ibang mga miyembro. So, balitaan po ninyo tayo. Ano na po ba? Paano po ba?
Well, may kasabihan tayo, voice in the wilderness, di ba? Kahit nag-iisa ka lamang, kung tama yung pinaglalaban, maraming makikinig dyan. At alam mo, nakita na natin ang kasaysayan, may palaging pagbabago yan. Kahit minsan, kung ikaw ay minority ngayon, there will come a time you will become the majority because people are convinced of the righteousness of your cause. Di ba, Kim?
Tama
Di ba,
yun.
Al?
I agree.
And for all you know, alam nyo ba na ako ang founder ng Partido Federal ng Pilipinas?
I was gonna ask that already. Attorney Al,
Sunod na tanong ko.
isunod mo na tanong nga. Oo, ikaw na.
Kasama po kayo sa nagtatag ng Partido Federal ng Pilipinas noong 2018. Tapos kayo po ngayon ay nasa PDP laban. Pero ang napapansin po namin sa inyong kampanya, lalo na yung mga torpoli nyo, isa lang ang nakasulat, Brother John Castriciones, Senator. So bakit ganun po? Parang nakahiwalay kayo sa inyong mga kapartido o mismong ito nasa Partido Federal ng Pilipinas.
Yan.
Ala, ginagawa nyo.
Oo, yan. Hindi naman. Mabuti na yung nililinaw ngayon pa lang, di ba,
Hindi naman.
Secretary?
Actually, alam mo, ang advocacy ko talaga from the very beginning is federalism. Because I strongly believe that the people in Metro Manila or in the cities do not have the monopoly of intelligence and management skills when it comes to the bureaucracy. Kaya sabi ko, bigyan natin ng pagkakataon yung mga taga-probinsya, mga taga-lalawigan to come forward and share their talent and their skills, Kim and Al. Kaya tinatag namin yung Partido Federal ng Pilipinas. And most of those people who actually advocated for this are the members of the MRRD NECC or yung Mayor Rodrigo Roa Duterte National Executive Coordinating Committee. And because from the very beginning, kami naman ay member talaga ng PDP Laban which also advocates for federalism. Pero to cut the long story short, there was some sort of a squabble within the party.
That's right.
Na later on, we woke up and found out that we were already excluded. But look at the Wikipedia, who is the founder of Partido Federal ng Pilipinas. Those who actually went to COMELEC to register the party, those who work hard in order to register the party. Well, I don't want to talk about it because there's a pending issue right now, no? May mga nagsampa ng kaso. Hindi ako yun, ha?
Oo nga.
Nagsampa ng kaso.
Actually, wag na ho nating yun, paikutin pa. Mas maganda siguro habang nandito na. Diretsohin na ho natin, no? Sabi po nila, yung mga nagsampa ng kaso na dating taga-Partido Federal, nakikinig po sa inyo. Paano po ba yon? Ano po ba ang totoo dyan, Secretary? Kayo po ba ay PDP Laban, Partido Federal? At ano po ba yung ginagawa ninyo dyan?
Alam mo yan, subjudice.
Oo.
Pero sa totoo lang,
Yung
I would like
totoo
to keep quiet, Kim, no? Kasi
Oo.
hindi pa naman ako involved. Pero kung
Ikaw yung tinuturo Secretary.
Pag ako dito at itinulak ako sa forefront, definitely I will be constrained to talk.
That's
And I
right.
have a lot of evidence to show.
Okay. So,
I have a lot
hihintayin po
of
namin yung
facts
panahon
and
na yun.
data to show.
Ano yung ipapakita ninyo na
Secret,
evidence at data?
Secret.
So,
iimbitahin ulit.
so ibig sabihin dapat sa amin yung unang sasabihin niya.
I-scoop natin.
Oo. So, ngayon, pagtakbo nyo ngayon sa PDP Laban,
Well,
hindi sa Partido Federal, hindi po
siyempre,
ba?
sinipa nila ako dun Paano naman?
So, ibig sabihin nun, yun ang ating aabangan ngayon, hindi ba?
Abangan
So,
ang susunod, nakabalata.
that's right. Ito ngayon.
Yan.
Yes.
Sino po ngayon ang susuportahan yung presidente? Wala na pong-
nag-withdraw kasi si Senator Bongo, no? We will wait for the announcement of President Duterte. Okay. Alam mo naman tayo, we are good soldiers, no? But kung wala talaga, then definitely we will have to use our own minds, no? As to who would be the president that we would be supporting.
Eh, meron,
Speaking of being a
meron
good
na.
soldier,
Oo.
pa-follow up ko lang doon.
Oh, sige.
Graduate po kayo ng PMA, no? Pero bakit hindi po kayo nag-servisyo yata sa military?
Nagre-research ka.
Aba, maganda yun actually. Sige nga,
Well,
Secretary.
actually, to be honest about it, no, I did not graduate from the PMA, but I was a cadet in the Philippine Military Academy.
I see.
I was there for 3 years, but I was involved in a hazing incident.
Kala ko later on natapos niyo po yun.
Hindi. I was involved in a hazing incident. So, to cut the long story short, because of that, it inspired me to become a lawyer. And that was the very reason why I took up the law course, the law profession, which I was very successful of. Eh, alam niyo, ang tatay ko kasi sundalo eh. Kaya he was my model. So I was looking at him and I really wanted to become a general myself. Eh, naging general problem. So, naging abogado na ako. Ganyan ang naging nangyari.
Okay, so balik tayo ng konti dahil konting oras natin ngayon no. So balik tayo ngayon sa inyong kampanya.
Yeah.
Kumusta naman po ang inyong pag-iikot ngayon at ano po ang feedback na nakukuha ninyo?
Well, natutuwa ako dahil marami sumusuporta sa atin. Marami sumusulpot eh. But you know, I think it's because of the 10-point platform that I have. I don't only champion the cause of agriculture. I'm also for federalism. I'm for the Magna Carta for the barangay. I'm for economic recovery. I'm for trial by jury. I'm for
Trial by jury?
Magandang, ano yun
That would be for a next episode, ano?
alam mo kung
Maganda
bakit,
yan.
Kim? Because I took up my master's in international law in the University of Notre Dame in London Law Center in the UK.
I see.
And I found out the so-called advantages of the so-called jury system. Ang ganda eh. Eh, lalong-lalo na ngayon, di ba? Pag meron, alam ni
Tsaka
Aljan.
number yan, mababawasan ng korupsyon sa judikatura.
Correct, di ba? Kasi alam naman natin na kapag may desisyon ng mga korte natin, ang palaging unang sasabihin ng mga tao, wala na, lagyan niya. Di ba, totoo yan, Al? Di ba, you're a lawyer. We
Pero
know that.
kung meron 12 tao doon na magdedesisyon,
correct.
mas mahirap bayaran yung 12.
At hindi lang yan. Kasama sila sa judicial process, kaya hindi sila pwedeng mag-akusa na may corruption. Otherwise, the whole people are corrupt. Yun ang number one na...
Siguro one time,
actually,
special edition.
Pwede yan
trial
kasi
by jury.
maganda yan eh, even the federalism in itself. Napakagandang issue niya.
Dalawang beses ko na sinulat sa column ko yan, yung trial by jury.
Yung trial by jury, mukhang nag-agree siya dyan. Pwede akong kukontra dyan para makita natin ng both sides. But, this is for you, Secretary.
Sure.
So, sa mga, sa mga tao po na gusto ninyong makausap, makahalubilo, ganyan, ano po ang i-expect nila kung naging senador po si Secretary Castriciones?
Alam mo, I think the best way that a senator can be effective, and efficacious when it comes to his function is to touch bases with the people. Hindi pwedeng we draft or we craft laws and just ram it down into the throats of our people.
Right.
You cannot do that. Alam ni Kong Kim yan.
Oo.
You have to go down to your people.
Correct.
Ask them, what do you want to happen, di ba? What do you want to be legislated? Yun ang kailangan natin. Hindi yung mga tours, puros publisidad, papatawag ka ng witness, pagkatapos isasabunin mo. Di ba, Kim? Di ba, mali yan, di ba?
Actually, may pros and my cons doon. Pero pangit pagka ginagamit naman nila for their own purposes.
Grandstanding.
Grandstanding, di ba? So, ang next natin
in
dyan,
aid of the next election.
in aid of election. Hindi Okay, so yung sa pandemic naman po, dahil we are still in a pandemic at this time. So, sa inyo po, nahihirapan po ba kayo na magkampanya ngayon at this time? Because this is not a normal situation. Ngayon lang tayo nakakita ng ganyan. At iba po ang approaches ngayon. Paano po ba ang ginagawa ninyo para maka-reach out sa mas maraming tao?
Alam mo, Kim, that's my advantage eh. At the height of the pandemic, I was one of those secretaries who went around the country. And every time that I go and visit provinces, I have to undergo swabbing. Siguro mga 70 to 80 times ako nasoswab na eh. Tingnan mo yung ilong ko, wasak na. But
Sensitized na yun.
do that. So, in other words, I don't have any qualms or problems when it comes to going around the country.
Right.
But the thing is, medyo yung mga tao kasi na mag-gather together. It will create problems kasi it might...
That's true.
Yeah, that's why ang trust natin ngayon talaga social media. Social media, pero kami na wala naman kaming pera for exposure, pa-TV, buti na, papasalamat nga ako sa inyo, invitahan niyo ako. Then we grab these opportunities because this is a way within which to touch bases with our people. Pero I still go around and marami kasi ako na-visit at the height of the pandemic. Yung mga far-flung areas because one of the things that I do, binago ko yung sistema na pagdidistribute ng CLOA.
Yes.
I go to their farms, I go to their houses, I knock on their doors, I give to them their titles.
Door-to-door delivery.
Door-to-door. Door-to-door. At by doing so, alam mo, it really touched my heart. Marami sa mga magsasaka natin, they've been waiting for their titles for 20 to 30 years. And once you give them their titles, they cry. I'm really misty-eyed pag nakikita ko. That gave me more motivation to really push through with my advocacy that we have to help the farmers.
Okay, sige. So,
Very active pa rin kayo sa social media, Brother Jan, ano? Kasi nakita ko meron pa rin kayo yung isang parang digital radio show or something na naging interview kayo ng iba-iba.
Yun nga, kasi kailangan ako mag-catch up. Alam mo, and Kim kung bakit. When I was the secretary, hindi ako epal kasi. I just go to the far-flung areas. You cannot locate me in my office, in my air-conditioned room because I'm not there. I'm there in the field. And I never talk about issues that are outside of the realm of agrarian reform. So hindi ako kilala. Pumunta ka dyan sa daan, hindi ako kilala. Sisikuhin pa ako siguro. But in the far-flung areas, probably they know me because I have already distributed so much lands nationwide. But dito sa mga cities and Metro Manila, they do not know me. So that's the reason why I have to be active in social media.
I see. Tama naman yun, di ba? Pero, sir, just a little bit on the fishermen.
Right.
Di ba? So, ano po ba ang programang nakikita nyo para dito? Kasi, yun po ang isang sector din na nangangailangan ng napakalaking tulong.
Totoo yan, ano? First and foremost, kasi yung mga fishermen natin, kuminsan, limited pa nga yung area of operation nila, lalong-lalo na ngayon sa South China Sea, no? That's the reason why we must have to come up with a policy in relation to the South China Sea problem.
Right.
And you need some sort of a strong international stance on how to deal with other countries. Kasi sa international community, when I took up international law, it's difficult to negotiate with other countries if you are weak. That is reality, di ba? They only listen to the countries that are really strong. And alam mo na, you know what I mean. That's why
you should always bargain from a strong position.
Precisely.
Yes, oo. That's the ideal bargaining.
Pero going back to the issue of the fishermen, siguro it's high time that we also give them a lot of subsidies, no? And at the same time, we give them teachings on how to become scientific when it comes to fishing. And probably we have to help them to resort to some sort of technologies on how they would be able to siguro yung kasi pag pumalaot ka kasi that's very risky, no? But teach them alternative like for example fish ponds, no? Or yung sa seas, no? Yung maglalagay ka ng mga nets diyan para diyan na sila magkukulture ng mga isda and marami pang mga ibang pamamaraan.
Right. Kasi po meron po lalo na sa bandang south hindi ba po napakaganda ng ating mga mga uri ng mga isda. Pero ngayon po sabi nila because of overfishing nawawala na. For example, yung sa Jensan, yung mga tuna, yung mga even the sardines nawawala na rin daw po. So, ngayon, we see a situation where yung mga those who are into that, namimili na po sa labas ng Pilipinas. So, how do we help them? How do we find the solution for the farmers? And then, how do we teach them also not to overfish?
Meron tayong tinatawag na yung yung open season at saka yung closed season.
Yes.
Na wag ka muna mangingisda kapag nag-breed yung mga isda.
Obviously, hindi po nangyayari yan.
Yun na
Tingnan
nga.
nyo, wala na tayong
Because
isla.
there are no effective environmental laws that are being implemented.
So, you will be one in championing for a new law for that?
Precisely, I think the best thing that we can do in order to see to it that we will have a continuous supply of fish is to introduce laws or craft laws that would definitely enhance the lives of our fishermen. And for the meantime na nagkaroon ng close season, hindi sila pwedeng mapangangisda, bigyan mo sila ng alternative jobs, no? In the land. Para naman mayroon silang pagkakita ng pera, di ba?
That's right.
That's number one. At syempre, siguro yung mga fishermen natin, siguro we have to give them more ayuda. Kawawa yung mga fishermen natin, lalong-lalo na ngayon, hindi na sila makapalaot ng masyadong malayo dahil bigla lang may bobomba sa kanila.
Oo, that's right.
Di ba? Mga Coast Guard from
Oo
other
nga
countries that would stop them.
You should make it secure.
Correct.
Oo, the fishing grounds. Oh, so Attorney Al, meron ka pa bang ibang katanungan sa kanya bago natin na itanong yung mga panghuli natin?
Kasi yung mga tanong ko, hindi pwedeng itanong. Ano?
Ay, hindi. Kailangan natin itanong. Actually, ito na lang yung sa akin po, sir. Kasi since kayo po yung isa sa founders ng Partido Federal, no? Will you be pushing for Will you be pushing for federalism when you become a senator? Halimbawa po, sa magfa-file po ba? Kasi nakikita natin matagal na marami nag-advocate niyan even the late Senator Pimentel, di ba?
Justice Puno.
Oh, well, Justice Puno. But
Pero it never
they
took
were
off the
not,
ground.
they were not able to, bring it above. Wala So, palagi siyang nandoon sa gilid-gilid ba?
Alam mo, ang unang-unang sinasabi nila, that's too expensive. Palaging ganun it's about to take out,
Take off.
flight, take off, babarilin nila kaagad. That's very expensive. But may kasabihan tayo, no pain, no gain, di ba? You have to make the first step, otherwise we will not be able to change our system. So, ang gusto kong sabihin dito, federalism is a very good form or system of government. No? And most of the countries that are very progressive have this kind of system, federalism, be it presidential federalism like the US or parliamentary federalism. Para sa akin, what I advocate for is parliamentary federalism. Kasi, kapag meron tayong parliamentary federalism, a ruler or a president, for that matter, who cannot rule the people by giving them the general welfare or yung welfare of the people, he can be booted out within months or
Magkakaroon
within...
ng vote of no confidence.
Definitely, dissolve ka agad yung
Yes.
government niya and they can kick him out. But if he runs the affairs of the government in a very efficacious way, efficient way, di ba, effective siya, he can stay there for the longest time. So, ibig sabihin natin dito is, merong accountability. Napakaganda ng sistema na gano'n. And I think that's the best way that we can do it.
Oo nga. So siguro ang maganda dyan, Secretary, dapat sana yung magiging presidente ay magsusupport din ng federalism, hindi ba? Oo, so ibig sabihin.
Otherwise, you will be rowing in a
Oo, dahil kung hindi, magkaiba kayo ng pananaw, wala na naman mangyayari, hindi ba? So, anyway, Attorney Al.
minutes pala tayo, no? So,
Oo nga, so-
bigyan natin ng pagkakataon si Brother Jan na
Yes.
makipag-usap ng diretso sa ating mga
Correct.
manonood.
Sige,
Ano po inyong
go
sasabihin,
ahead,
Brother Jan?
Secretary.
Mga minamahal ko pong kababayan, ako po ay lubos na nagpapasalamat sa pagkakataon na ito na binigyan ako ng boses para magsalita dito. Ako po ay hindi po politiko, hindi rin po ako mayaman, pero I have a heart that has a genuine purpose of really serving the people. Matagal na po rin po ako nagsaservisyo sa pamahalaan dahil sa aking experience, pero nakita ko po ang kakulangan sa ating pong mga batas at gusto ko po sana ibahagi ang aking nalalaman sa ating bayan. Alam ko po na ang tunay na pagbabago ay nasa puso at isipan ng mga tao at sana ito nga po ang ating baguhin para magkaroon tayo ng isang sistemang napakabuti para po sa progreso at kapayapaan ng ating bayan. Pero alam naman natin pong lahat na siyempre ang pinakamagandang lahat na pamamaraan ay ang patnubay ng Panginoong Diyos. Yan po ang kailangan natin para tunay na magkaroon tayo ng isang pusong matiwasay, pusong talagang tumatanggap ng pagbabago para po sa kabutihan ng lahat. Maraming salamat po at magandang umaga.
Okay, so maraming